Hatman! Everything is Russia now, comrade.
We could come out the shadows now?
Say that again.
We could come out the shadows now?
Actually,
we are free?
This feels very wrong. Hold on, we're starting over. That's more like it. Alright, so this week on the Politics Podcast, we'll be talking about Hillary Clinton accusing Tulsi Gabbard, you know, the one who is a veteran, of being a Russian plant, Donald Trump's Turkey problem, impeachment going nowhere, and apparently Brexit going nowhere either. Nothing's going anywhere and everything is Russian. My name is Micah Curtis.
Now I'm Alex Baldwin, better dead than red.
Amen to that. Welcome to Micah and The Hatman on Politics, live. All right. So let's go ahead and get right down to it. This was one of the silliest things I had seen said in politics in a long time. So, I do not agree with Tulsi Gabbard's politics and or anything along those lines. You know, I think that I would not be comfortable with her being the president of the United States. But then again, for her, it's more or less just because I disagree. Not because I think that if she were to become the president of the United States, we'd all be bankrupt tomorrow, like if Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren were.
Yeah.
So, but Hillary Clinton was asked about Tulsi, and Hatman, do you have the quote prepared?
I do not have the quote prepared.
Everyone shame to Hatman! Wait, didn't have the button. Now do it. Everyone shame to Hatman!
Shame! 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 Shame!
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Alright. Hatman, what be the quote?
She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far. They're grooming her to be the third-party candidate.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't really think of a more ridiculous statement that I've heard so far towards her in this campaign cycle than that.
It's funny, too, because we've seen the DNC, and we've talked about this previously, too. We've seen the DNC try to torpedo her campaign since the day she announced.
Mm-hmm.
So, this, even when she's not polling that well, kind of says something. Like, they're worried about her. I mean, some people are now saying, like, she might be the new Bernie Sanders. She might be the one that they choose to screw over this time. And truth be told, it's sort of looking that way.
Yeah, well, and they've already done it in certain ways. Like, one thing that they did was they wouldn't even they wouldn't even allow for like her to come into one debate, despite the fact that she was polling at the percentages that they said that she should be at.
Mm-hmm.
Servant of God donates $1, says Tulsi's a Russian. Everyone with a memory. Kami says what? I wouldn't call Hillary Clinton a commie, but I will say this. The simple fact is that she's accusing people of being a Russian plant when she infamously, as Secretary of State, walked up. It wasn't to Putin. It was some member of the Russian government, one of their ambassadors, and handed him a literal reset button. Yeah.
Why is she so fucking stupid?
I don't really think it's stupidity. I don't think that it is. I think that with Hillary Clinton, the problem is that her ego is so big, and completely unearned, mind you, that she cannot accept the idea that A, she's not president, and B, that there are people within the Democratic Party who don't want to follow the current progressive agenda.
So, show of hands. Who here thinks Hillary Clinton should have been sent to the nursing home already?
Yep.
Yeah. Seriously, like, I can't help but wonder if this is not just her trying to torpedo a candidate, but also her trying to throw herself back into relevancy yet again. I mean, because she knew that this was going to ruffle some fucking feathers. And then Tulsi just shot back and scored a damn headshot on her.
Mm-hmm.
I had to say, the only the only sniper fire that she was able to, well, wasn't able to evade, allegedly.
Yeah.
She didn't even have to be on the tarmac for it. Who would have thought? But no, like, this is some fucking bullshit. But Tulsi's strike back was amazing. I mean, it takes some serious fucking balls to one, be in the Democratic Party, and two, call her the queen of warmongers, basically to her face.
Yeah.
And then we got Andrew Yang and Marion Dark Psychic Forces Williams. Actually, that's fucking around again. Boris is now compelled by law to request an extension. And he has. So, Brexit won't happen on October 31st. We don't know when it's going to happen. And because there's no majority government, Parliament effectively gets to hold the UK hostage. And once again, I reiterate, I do not think Brexit is going to happen because Parliament does not want it to happen, and they keep fucking everything up. They've effectively created a sort of limbo because they won't hold new elections, they won't call for a vote of no confidence in Boris Johnson, and they won't approve a fucking Brexit plan. So everything's in fucking limbo. They're just waiting it out until it eventually just dies. Literally, death by committee.
This is one of the biggest problems with just the British government in general. Complete and total unwillingness to actually do what their constituents want them to do.
Yep. I think some of them have actually fooled themselves into thinking that there is now a majority of people that would choose to remain. Oh, mild correction. Boris Johnson ask for a Brexit extension, but also ask them not to grant it. If they don't grant an extension, I believe you get a no-deal Brexit by default. Don't quote me on this, but I believe that's what happens. And if so, no deal is better than fucking the EU deal. Dealing with the EU, fuck it.
What the hell
Did we
is wrong
die
with
again?
England?
Well, it's not just England; it's all the UK. Because like Northern Ireland wants to be part of the EU, so they were supposedly getting like special regulations, like exclusive to them. I mean, Scotland also wanted to remain. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. EU is bullshit. Get out.
Super governments in general are bullshit.
Yeah, they are.
They never work and they never help. That's why I'm happy that it seems like the United Nations is going to bankrupt itself.
It seems that way. Certainly seems that way.
Which, by the way, and this is laughable, they just put Venezuela on the Human Rights Council.
I'm sure Saudi Arabia is real happy to hear that. Oh, no, wait, it was the Women's Council that Saudi Arabia was on.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck the United Nations.
This is generally one of the silliest things in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And generally why I'm against super governments in the first place.
Oh, yeah. Bullshit.
Conservative God 777 donates again, says UK is a democratic monarchy. The Queen can shut down Parliament and order Brexit. Also, no deal Brexit is what they voted for in the first place. Well, that's the thing. They should be able to just walk away from this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't exactly see why that's such a problem. You know, you could still be trade partners with England, or with the UK. You know, you could still be, you could still, do business and things like that, and there wouldn't really be that much of a difference. The only thing is they wouldn't be paying you taxes, and that, in the end, is the big deal here. Government sucks. It really does. Government just blows. It's back.
Okay.
So, it stinks that I feel like we've said everything we can really say about this. You know, we've been following this drama ever since the vote. And it has just gone nowhere. And it is in a perpetual state of going nowhere. It's like the UK is on a hamster wheel. Politics suck t-shirt win, asks Servant of God 777 while throwing another $1 in the pizza fund. Well, the way that I am figuring if we were to do the t-shirts at this point, because we have the designs finished, is there will be a point where I put out for pre-orders. And I think that honestly, instead of going through Shopify, since Hatman owns the damn shop, we could just do a direct order service. And then set up a website for it later. We could just do direct order through email, am I right?
Yeah, we can. The only issue is just paying for it, because our The PayPal account that we were using to fulfill orders got effectively banned for shady business practices.
Yeah.
Of which the shady business practice was we were going to upgrade to a business account, realized that we couldn't upgrade to a business account because they wanted like a business, and when we to fucking get out of it, it wouldn't let us.
And then we were instructed by PayPal to restart the account.
Yeah. And then when we restarted the account and somebody ordered a shirt, they shut us down, said that we're going to hold your money for 180 days. So we said, fuck it, refunded that money, shuttered the account, and now we got to figure out something else. Fuck PayPal, by the way. PayPal is shit.
Yeah. Basically, it's looking like we would have to start a whole nother account just to get this done. Like it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
I wish that there was a way that we could do it through like a third party vendor, and then we could just ship the shirts. Wonder if we could do that through Amazon.
I don't know that we could.
Look it up, but put a note on your desk there to look into that, because you could do that with books. We might be able to do it through them too. Anyway, Servant of God said he mailed a check.
Yes, he did.
So
that's who got refunded.
Yep.
Mailing checks is something different because, we can't really ship anything until the check's mailed, but he got his stuff already, so I told him he could just pay for it if he wanted to. I was pissed off.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. So, next topic of the day. No impeachment inquiry, apparently.
Yeah, so apparently Nancy Pelosi said that they're not going to vote on an impeachment inquiry. The House is not going to hold a vote on it. Why? I don't know. Probably because they realize that...
it's political suicide?
Probably. To be fair, yeah, it's absolutely suicide. It's fucking dumb. I mean, everybody jumped on this thing. Like, before the actual transcripts were released, everybody jumped on this fucking Ukraine call as, oh my god, this is absolute fucking proof. And then the transcripts get released and everyone's like, this isn't the real transcripts. It's just, it's not the actual words that were said. And then the Ukrainian president says, I didn't feel pressured at all. No, clearly he's lying. It's excuse after fucking excuse after fucking excuse. And Nancy Pelosi, for all the shit that she does, she's shrewd. She knows better than to pursue something that is going to be ultimately a gamble and a losing one at that. And this was looking more and more like a losing gamble. The odds were continually stacked against her. So, no vote. As far as I know, the four oversight committees are still having investigations and shit. They're still going to subpoena people. But as far as an actual vote for the inquiry, it's not happening. Oh well.
With all of my current disagreements with Trump, at the same time, you can't deny his popularity continues to rise.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes right down to it, it could really, really destroy their credibility even more. What was that?
Oh, that was my laptop.
Oh. I'm like, well, is someone playing the tiniest violin for the Democratic Party at this point?
Not quite. Not quite.
Hatman, talk a little bit more about this, because I need to eat chicken.
Go for it. Yeah, it doesn't... It seems kind of two-faced when you really think about it, because they still want the inquiries to happen. They still want to dig into every possible thing that they can, regardless of whether or not they can get anything out of it, because, it stands to damage Trump more. I mean, this is more or less an election year at this point. I know next year is the year for it, but you may as well fucking started it by now. It's just... It almost reminds me of the Mueller report, actually, the whole Russia thing. It's going to be drawn out for as far as it fucking can. That rubber band is going to be stretched and stretched and stretched until it absolutely fucking breaks. And where it breaks, I don't know. But hell with it and hell with them.
Russia, you say?
Josh 1920 says something interesting in the chat. I know the term Civil War II is brought up a lot on the internet, but I can see impeachment leading to some serious street violence. Yeah. Honestly, I think this election is going to... I think it's going to lead to some violence, regardless. If Trump wins, you know who's going to fucking start it. But if Trump loses, depending on how bad the loss is, I think you're going to see some people reacting violently to it too. And I think even after that, and if you don't see any violence from Trump supporters, wherever they may land on the political spectrum, you're going to see some from the leftists too, because they're going to see this as okay, now we have to exterminate you. We will not forget. This isn't a civil war in the sense of there will be reconciliation, because there won't be. And shit's changed.
So, Servant of God donated another $1. Says, they want to convict him before they bring him in for a trial. Also, Kim Clement said God says through him that it will not happen. Yeah, we'll get to the whole Trump prophecy thing. Because, we have things to say.
Why shame on Micah?
You couldn't hear it, but when I said, did you say Russia? I was playing the Soviet national anthem again.
Oh my fucking god.
While posing.
Does it make me a Russian plaint if I know the words?
Yes.
Wait. I know the Russian anthem. I don't know if I know the Soviet.
Yeah, the Soviet anthem's different.
Yeah, well, it's different lyrics. It's the same tune. It's the exact same tune, but it's different lyrics. Россия сочинная наша держава. I need to start over. Couldn't hear a word you said. It was just reiterating the same things, basically.
Yeah. So, somebody asks if we're going to do a stream for Halloween. What day is Halloween on?
Halloween is on
Thursday.
I'm going to do something, and this is something I did want to talk about. I guess now I have the opportunity to. I usually do paranormal hacktivity, where I basically just read spook stories and creepypastas and shit on my channel on Halloween. But this year, I want to do it on the Micah and The Hatman channel. And you guys need to tell me what creepypastas, or if you have, scary stories of your own that you want to submit, tell me. Send me suggestions and shit, and I will read them. I'm planning on doing this the night before Halloween, leading into Halloween, so it will be like a past midnight stream. But yeah, email me, alex@hatman.net, if you have suggestions for creepypastas you want me to read, or just spook stories, or if you have a story of your own that's like paranormal or just frightening, whatever, and you want me to read it.
There you go. Say, Serena donates $1. Says my birthday was last Thursday. Can she get a birthday shout out? Absolutely. Happy
Yes.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
I am still deciding what I want to do for my costume this year. I kind of want to do Scullo Micah again, but I'm gonna get a better face paint kit.
Oh yeah, that's right. I read Abandoned by Disney last year.
The big thing is that I'd like to find a kit that doesn't use like an oil-based face paint, because those are just your skin doesn't get to breathe. It sucks. But I think whatever I end up getting, I'm probably gonna get next week, on payday.
Gorilla suit.
I've thought about it. Mercenary X donates $1. Says, "Did you get your questions from last week on the overflow? Also, music was too loud, couldn't hear Hat, and can't believe Trump. They can't believe Trump is an honest man. They actually believe he's guilty, as they are of crimes, and can't believe it otherwise." Fair enough.
We didn't get the questions. It's just we're doing overflood because I had to send my grandmother back to the hospital this week. So
yeah, pretty much. So yeah, there wasn't even an overflow this week. It'll be next week.
No.
All right, let's move on to our final topic. Trump's turkey problem. So we talked about this
Not
last
talking
week.
Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. Trump made a stupid when it comes to pulling troops out, and pulled a small contingent of troops out of Syria that were basically there to keep Turkey from coming in and killing the Kurds. And Trump just pulls them out against the advice of all of his advisors, and on top of that, before negotiating a fucking ceasefire.
Yep.
And he actually said
Everyone
in a tweet,
has admonished him for this.
Yeah, he even said in a tweet that he thought that Erdogan would be honorable. What?
On top of that,
what?
the fucking the letter that he sent him too. What the hell? That letter was just not even. Oh my god. There's a reason why you have speechwriters and shit. Fuck's sake. You don't end a fucking letter with, don't be a chump, I'll call you soon. That's how you fucking passive aggressively try to get your shit back from your ex-wife. No. Fuck.
Yeah, this was one of the dumbest things that...
Yeah. I do want to address something. Ghost says in the chat, the Kurds have been caught waving Antifa flags and released Islamic State fighters from captivity just so the U.S. can stand longer. They aren't our friends. So the Kurds are not like one singular group. There are multiple different factions, and of course, depending on territory, you're going to get different degrees of Kurdish fighters as well. Like, your Syrian Kurds are not the same as your Iraqi Kurds, for example. But yes, some of them are outright communists. They fucking are. As far as I'm aware, that's not the ones in Syria.
Yeah, that's a different group. The whole thing is that there are contingencies within the Middle East that want the Kurds as a whole, every single one of them, no matter what their political alignment is, dead. Erdogan is one of those people. One thing, we just got rid of somebody for accusing me of being Israel first. Not even confirmed that I'm Jewish, and I'm getting that shit already. Go fuck yourself. Never been to Israel. May never go to Israel. If I did go to Israel, it would be to pray at Golgotha. Because I'm a Christian. I am, like... I didn't tolerate that shit beforehand. You really think I'm going to tolerate it now? Anyway. But I didn't even fucking mention Israel. What the fuck? Anyway. Back on this topic. Now, Hatman and I have said before, and I feel like every time we discuss this sort of thing, we have to reiterate it. We don't want troops in the Middle East anymore.
No.
If we do not have a plan like we had with Italy and Japan and Germany, there's no point in even being there. They're going to have to sort themselves out. They really are. And at the same time, you still can't just pull troops out without acknowledging what is there. And what could end up happening to just innocent people. And that was Trump's big mistake here. And that's our criticism, just so people understand. The criticism is not the idea of getting us out of Syria. I think that that's a good idea. The thing is that there are certain securities that need to be set in place to make sure that other people's rights don't get violated. Because here's the thing. And this is something that a lot of people don't seem to understand, is that the United States does not... And Mercenary, you've donated $3 asking the same question. We did get your questions. So, here. So yes, we have your questions, and yeah, we're with you. Now, if you want to just keep throwing money at us, we're not going to tell you no. But you know, if you wanted to put something different other than that question in there, feel free. Anyway, but when it comes right down to it, there's assurances that you need to get from all parties. That, given the fact that we're the United States of America and have the biggest military in the world, we can do rather easily. But just the fact that Trump did not take that step. And by doing so, it cost people their lives. But we believe that rights are not this thing that government grants you, that they're God-given. They're a sacred thing. You know, that was the argument, oddly enough, of Thomas Jefferson, if I recall correctly. Or was it Washington? I can't remember. Might have been Washington, because Washington wasn't a deist. But and then it was Benjamin Franklin who said, well, that may be true, but also they're self-observant. You know, all people have these rights. You know, but we as a government will recognize them and protect them. And when it comes right down to it, you know, even though we can't police the world, we still want to make sure that the rights of other human beings are observed. Because we believe that these rights that we're given are good things. You know, and they should be recognized. And I pray that there will be a day when the whole world recognizes them. But we're not there yet. And I think the fact that we are not there yet is why people are so upset, at least on certain areas. People who are being more sensible about this whole thing and aren't, like, using footage from Knob Creek, Kentucky to try to dig at Trump. But, sorry, that was actually one of my favorite memes of the week, was live from Syria, and it would be, like, shots of Warhammer 40K, or the Enterprise in a space fight, or the Death Star trench run. That was funny, but when it comes right down to it, we have the ability to make sure that these things are recognized, and by not doing so is a failure on our part. If we have the ability to do it in regards to recognizing the rights of other people, we should, because we're not Saudi Arabia, we're not Turkey, we're not Iran. We're much better than that as a nation, and we should never be ashamed of the fact that we're much better than that.
Yeah.
So, and Josh 1920 says in the chat, Knob Creek bourbon is really good, and every picture I've seen of a Kurdish girl fighting the ISIS, the Kurdish girl is really attractive. Yeah, in fact, there is a video game character that many of you know of, but probably don't remember, is a Kurd. Sniper Wolf from Metal Gear Solid.
Yep.
So that was actually something where you heard that Snake had a bit of respect for in the tone of his voice. God, Metal Gear Solid is still such a phenomenal video game.
Yeah, it's a fucking great game. Yep, that's why she called Big Boss Saladin.
Yep. So, but anyway, and not to mention that's also why I used Volgan as the title card for this one. Kuwabara. And I just remember the my first thought when I saw him in Metal Gear Solid 5, and that's not a spoiler. It's rather obvious that it's him. Was just oh fuck me. So,
except he's got fire instead of lightning.
Yeah, he still does lightning stuff later on, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
He's just a firebender.
Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the Q&A, but because of the earlier silliness, I have to hit a certain button. Like, seriously, is this my future? If this Jewishness is confirmed,
you mention it once.
I know.
And it started. It has started.
Ridiculous. No, I don't tolerate that shit. I didn't tolerate it before. I'm certainly not going to tolerate it now. But then again, I don't tolerate any sort of attacks on people for their ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
So. Autis Whisperer does point out that people did suspect I was Jewish anyway, which is really weird. I don't know why you...
I don't understand it.
Well, whatever. Maybe it's because I'm smart.
Mm.
I would figure though if I was like that I was Jewish, that I would get like the Jew check supposedly, and I could control the weather.
Well, in the bag of gold around your neck and shit. You know?
I know, right?
Fuck, man. Where do you go to get that shit?
I know, like I need to figure this out, like because it's like I kind of like to have more money. Give me, like, you're gonna have me rule the world? All right, cool. Oh, because of my name. Well, that's so weird though, because my last name is Curtis, which is Anglo-Norman.
Yes, but people know about the whole adoption thing too.
True.
So.
Servant of God asks to start us off with this. Thoughts on the pics that he sent us from the Trump Minnesota rally? The ones that could be Ilhan Omar. They could be, but we're gonna need confirmation on that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, they're extremely, extremely close, and the fact that it's not just her there, but it's her boyfriend too, that kind of lends a little bit more credence to the idea.
Yep. Talon Silverbane asks, for the political podcast, as a British person, I want to ask you if you are against national healthcare service. What about the idea of statewide healthcare services that can be voted in only those states that agree to be taxed? Well, I think that if you're going to have it, it should be decided on a state-to-state basis anyway. But I'm against it just in general because I don't think that the government should be able to tell you what to do with your own body. Unless that there's another body in play, which is where abortion happens, because that's a little bit more complicated. But if it's your own elective surgeries, or if it's your own cancer treatments or things like that, you should have control over it. The government should not. The only time that I really think that there should be an idea for it or place for it would just be, if like a voucher system for our veterans. Like, that's it. Because I hate the VA. And most veterans hate the VA.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll tell you.
Fucked.
Dude, my dad could have been pulling VA for ages now, and he refuses to do it. Refuses. Because
my buddy still needs a fucking, he still needs knee surgery. He's been... Fuck, when did he get his discharge papers? 7-8 years ago now?
Mm-hmm.
He's still waiting on fucking knee surgery.
Yeah.
VA won't do shit for him.
Yeah, the VA is fucking terrible. There should be a voucher system for that. There really should.
I agree. I think also the idea of an NHS here is just not feasible. There's way too many fucking people.
Yep. Oh, thoughts on the video about... this is from Leonardo 1. Thoughts on the video about a guy stopping an Antifa protest because he needed to go to work. Did you see that video?
No, I didn't.
Oh, dude. Hold on. Who posted it? I want to say that Cal Jameson did. Let me find it real quick. Where is it out? I saw it somewhere. It was glorious, though. It's basically, it's some Antifa people blocking traffic. And they've got this big sign up. And this dude who's dressed in scrubs, so he's probably a doctor or a nurse. And he just runs straight through the banner, grabs it out of their hands, tosses it over a fence, and then just shoves them out of the road.
Good.
Yeah, it was. I was
fucking
like,
good.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, fuck that, man. Oh God.
Oh, it was Extinction Rebellion.
Hatman.
Well, still good.
Do you want to see some stupid?
Oh God.
McMuffin.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Egg McMuffin is standing with fucking Hillary Clinton.
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah, Evan McMuffin is accusing Tulsi Gabbard of being with the Russians too. All right, pick a question. Oh, Hatman says check your Twitter. Are people not hearing us or something? Like, we saw the photos.
No, the Extinction Rebellion one.
Oh, that
Certainly
one.
that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Hardboiled Entertainment asks, what is no deal Brexit exactly? Sargon and Farage seem to be all for it. So if it takes effect, if the Halloween deadline isn't met, isn't that a good thing? It is. It's a simple fucking break. They don't agree to any kind of economic deals. They're not paying the EU anything. They don't have to comply by EU rules, and any sort of like trade deals with the EU would have to be negotiated after the fact. So no deal basically means they leave cold fucking turkey. They're out. Done. best possible outcome, honestly, because the negotiations with Brussels have been shit, and Brussels didn't want them to leave anyway.
So
I mean, keep in mind, Great Britain was the second largest purse for the EU. They didn't want them to fucking leave.
yeah. All right, Michael, am I still coming through all right? Because Chrome is screwing up. But
Yeah.
I just saw something on Twitter, so I can't see the questions. I saw something on Twitter that I found kind of heartening. Is in Seattle, there was a kid who walked into his school with a shotgun, and a teacher managed to talk him down and hugged him and convinced him not to go through with it. So,
Good.
to whoever that teacher is, I want to say this right now. You probably showed that kid a lot more love than he's ever heard or seen in his entire life, just by that. So, that man's a hero. He's an American hero for doing what he did. And this is something that needs to be understood, is that there is something going on in our culture right now where we are just broken in a lot of ways, and we break one another constantly. And it pains me to see it, because there's these people out there with no direction and no anything, and then, I saw on Twitter this week, there was like these feminists who were going around putting this Twitter talking about fragile masculinity and saying that, men should be comfortable with speaking about their feelings. And everybody thankfully turned around and told them, anytime that a young man speaks about his feelings and feeling alienated and feeling terrible about himself, you call him a fucking incel.
Mm-hmm.
And you mock him for it.
I feel kind of bad that masculinity is being denigrated by the mainstream. Lol, don't talk about your feelings like that, you incel fuck.
Yeah.
Like, go to hell. Seriously. Fuck that.
It does nothing for anything to do that to young men. And it's feigning care, and I think that can be a worse slap in the face than anything else. So, to that teacher, you're a good man, and you're doing the right thing by that kid and by everybody else.
Hell yeah. Keep it up.
All right. Sorry, I'm getting to the weepy Jordan Peterson part where even when I start to think about that, it hurts, We live in a time and place where there's this vocal, angry group of people who just seems to be convinced that it's not okay to be a man, and that element of a person's existence is something to be shamed constantly.
It's funny too, because, and of course in the ironic way, not like the actual humorous way, because it's something that's beyond your control, or at least it is as we see it. I mean, I'm almost wondering if the reason why we're seeing more and more people, come out as transgender or just otherwise transition is because they have been isolated for being men. Because most commonly it is male to female. I can't help but wonder if that's the reason why. So they can be taken seriously more.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine who is finally getting to do the job he's wanted for a long time of being a therapist. He's had his master's for a couple of years now, and he, is incredibly smart guy. And we were having this conversation after, my therapy session, about gender dysphoria and how he's starting to dive into it. And I said, you need to talk to me about this at some point, because this is something that I've had, you and I have had to do a ton of research on. to even discuss it properly. And the problem that I see oftentimes is because there is such a level of purposelessness in the world around us that we seem to try to dive into everything for some sort of identity. And it just doesn't do anything. It does no good. We have to be able to speak freely about the things that do give us purpose. Being the Bible beater that I am, I think that the world could use a lot more Jesus. So. All right. Grab another question. I'm getting depressed.
Okay. Let's see. Thoughts on Beta admitting that he will send cops to your door to confiscate your property?
Not surprised.
P.S. He's a pile of shit. Agreed. Also, possible fuck him or exterminatus.
He
Yes.
doesn't deserve it. We've already given Beto enough fuckums. Like he's done.
He's saying controversial shit to keep his name in the headlines. He's polling at 0% even with all of this shit.
Yeah.
This one's interesting. Advice on dealing with parents and family who very much do not agree with your views on your life.
Who asked that one, just for the record?
Alistair Fulgore.
Yeah, gotta say that for the mods. But
Right.
So I've been there, not politically speaking, but lifestyle speaking. My mother was very against heavy metal. She thought it was going to make me violent. And we had a long shouting match, which led to me moving in with my father. So I will say that it's not easy. A big part of it is there has to be a point where you put your foot down and you say, look, this is what I believe. And it's not changing. I can tell you why I believe it, but you are not going to change me. Stop trying to. I love you. You're my family. And that's not going to change either. But you have to accept the fact that I am, a metalhead, a Second Amendment advocate, a First Amendment advocate, so on and so forth. A capitalist. I don't even know. You have to be firm in yourself.
You got to do what's best for you too. And if that means you have to cut your family out, then that's what it takes. Because your family should always have your back. I mean, even if they don't agree with, how you want to live your life, you shouldn't be given shit for it. Like, when you're with them, you should be able to feel comfortable, to feel safe, dare I even call it, a safe space. You shouldn't feel hesitant to be in their presence. You shouldn't feel fearful to be around them because of what they might say to you. And if they do not respect you when you say, look, I know you don't agree with it, but just don't bring it up around me, then I think it's reasonable to cut them away. Temporarily, if need be, permanently if it escalates. And I hate it, but sometimes you got to make hard choices like that.
Exactly. All right. Last one. I'm picking this one because now my computer's working again. Leonardo Juan asks, thoughts on sports players bowing to the American, getting on one knee for the American flag, but saluting the Chinese flag. Well, I don't think he's being literal there, because that did not literally happen. But oh boy, did it happen figuratively.
Yep, that political cartoon was spot fucking on.
Yeah, so LeBron done a stupid, and basically what happened is it was the assistant coach of the Houston Rockets came out in support of Hong Kong, as he should, and LeBron was asked about it, and being the world-class intellect that he is, basically stand for the Chinese government. Same LeBron James who wore an I Can't Breathe shirt, same LeBron James who, knelt it during the national anthem and all this other shit. Supported Kaepernick, blah, blah, blah. But one of the worst human rights abusing nations, one that has killed over 100 million of its own people during the course of history, the Chinese government, they're the good guys. Steve Kerr did the exact same thing, and he can go fuck himself too, former bull or not. The hypocrisy of the left is obvious when it comes to this sort of thing. It's ridiculous. And it's all because of money. They're capitalists too, they just won't admit it. So to end out the podcast, fuck them?
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck 'em.
Mercenary asks, what did you read the Streamlabs? Mercenary, you sent the same message like 3 times. Yes, we got the questions for the overflow. We didn't do the overflow because Hatman had personal stuff going on. Speaking of which, if you did not get your question answered during the course of this week's podcast and you have a new question for us, go ahead and shoot us the question in the chat, and the mods will go ahead and pick it up. And then on top of that, we are not doing entertainment on this channel. In fact, we're not doing it at all. Instead, this is the last day to back Englewood. We're going over to my channel, and we're going to do a stream there at 6:30 my time, so in a little less than a half hour. And we'll be shooting the shit about comic books, talking about the creative process in Englewood. I'm going to show off some pencils that Brian has sent us. He hasn't gotten back to me about whether he's going to do any drawing live. I hope he does, but if not, that's okay. And then I'll probably invite some other guests in there too. So go ahead and head over to my channel and hang out for a bit, and then we will be there shortly. So, Hatman, any final words?
Back Englewood.
Indeed. All right, folks. We love y'all. Don't forget that. My name is Micah Curtis.
I'm Alex Baldwin. Still not a Russian bot.
Exactly. We'll see you guys soon. Dave's Fault.
Dave's Fault.